connected by the ones I lost. Connected.
Hey guys, it is Karen. I'm trying to get comfortable here because it's story time. And I have yet to tell this story and didn't think I would actually ever tell this story. So grab your coffee, grab your water. If you're new here, hello. This may be a story that not everyone wants to hear, but it's something that happened to me, and there's definitely a lesson to be learned in pretty much every experience in life. So stick around. See if it's something that grabs a hold of you, maybe changes your behavior so you don't end up in jail. I don't know, but I am going to tell you this. I watch Christina Randall for a while now, every now and then, and she spent like 3 years in prison, so her experience is totally different than mine. But my experience of one night being in jail, I can't tell you how humiliating it was. Awful. A little backstory for you. I'm divorced, but my husband had been to jail, to prison, county jail, prison, all that stuff. And he used to tell me how, he used to need medication in there for a condition he had, and he used to have to fill out forms for it and all these different things, and he would need, commissary money because they offered very little to eat and all this different stuff. And I remember taking care of him while he was there, and I was like, they can't deny you your medication, and he'd be like, they don't care. Do you understand? They don't care. They treat us like crap. And I'm like, if you can have an adult conversation with them, I thought. These are adults. He's like, okay. So fast forward. April 11th, 2018. I went to a local bar with my son and my friend and my new friend I had met up with for the last 2 months. She had brought her husband that time, and I'd only seen him one time before. But I remember him keep wanting to give us shots while we were playing this bowling game. And I was ready to leave. So I went to my son. He said, well, he had driven me there. He wasn't drinking. And I went to my friend and I said, well, I want to go. And they said, well, I don't know if you should go with them. And I said, I'm going to do what I'm going to do. I'm an adult. They're going to leave. I'm going to get a ride with them. So we get outside, and sometimes I smoke real cigarettes after I've drank a beer or whatever. And I was definitely feeling a little bit of the alcohol. I just wanted to leave. I was done. I was over with it. And we get into his truck, and he's got this big bottle of Crown, and he's like, do you want some? And I'm like, no, I'm okay. His wife sits in the front, I sit in the back, and I live maybe 5-6 minutes down the road. He says, well, I gotta make a stop first. So he stopped someplace. I have no idea where we were at all. And his wife went in. She said she was going to use the bathroom, whatever. I don't know. Whatever it was. I have no idea. And then, oh God, this got hazy too for a while. And in a minute, you'll understand why. He started asking me inappropriate things, like, have I ever been with a girl? And I was like, no. And he was like, do you want to be? And I was like, what is this guy thinking? And I was like super uncomfortable. He's like, why don't you hop in the front seat while she's going to the bathroom? You can have a shot with me. And I'm like, I'm good. I'm fine right where I'm at. So she gets back and she gets in the back seat with me. And I'm like, thought we were going home. He's like, yeah, we are. He climbed in the back. I remember I hit my head. I'm not sure how that happened, but I remember feeling disoriented. I think it was on the side of the truck, but he tried touching me and her, and she was saying no, 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 no. And it was the next thing I know, I'm fighting this man, and he's throwing me and my things out of the truck. And I'm kicking him and punching him and going crazy, and I don't even know what else, but he grabbed me. I mean, just grabbed me and like threw me. I was dirty. It was awful. Awful, awful, awful. And then he disappeared after I kicked him and I punched him. And it turns out he went over to call the police, and his wife and I went up to a stranger's door, okay, and said, "Can you call the police? We need to get out of here," you know, and none of us should be driving because we did have a few drinks earlier. And so now the cops are coming, and I guess his wife had called her mother-in-law, the guy's mother, whatever. She came, and all my things were like everywhere in the road, my phone, my purse, whatever. And I was told to sit down, and I was sitting down. And the police were talking to the girl, and the girl, I heard her say he wanted to have a threesome, Mom. That's what he wanted, and I didn't want to do it, and blah, blah, blah. And she's like, no, he wouldn't do that. And then I turned around, and I was like, did you see what he did to her? Did you see? And here, I'm not worried about myself, and I'm covered in bruises and shit, but I didn't even realize it till later. And the cop, I got up because I was like, you gotta be kidding me. And next thing I know, I'm in handcuffs. And I was like, no, I'm trying to tell you what happened. I'm asking you for help. I'm trying to explain it to you. If you looked in his truck, you would have seen all this stuff. You would have, whatever. So I get put in one car. He gets put in another car. And I'm sitting here going, well, this is a mistake. This is a mistake. Once I explain it to him, it'll be fine. So on the way to jail, I'm telling the officer, look, he tried to hurt me. He tried to do this. He tried to do that. He tried to do this. He tried to do that. And this happened to be the last night this officer was on. So he just kind of wanted to get out of there, whatever. And we're sitting, we get to the jail, and we're sitting there, we're waiting. And that guy the guy that hurt me had this smirk on his face. And I was like, oh God, all right, whatever. And like I said, I'm still feeling like disoriented. I mean, I don't know if something was put in my drink. I'm not really sure what happened, but I did not have that much alcohol, and I was not drunk. So I eventually get moved, and I'm like, is there somebody I can talk to? I need to talk to. There's all these corrections officers around. There's lieutenants around. There's other things around. And they're like, no talking. I'm like, okay. Where the hell am I? Why am I here? When are they going to let me go? I didn't realize I was being booked and charged. I didn't even know what I was being charged with. So I'm sitting here like, you got to be kidding me right now. And they put me in this little cell by myself with a toilet. And I was like, hello, I need to talk to somebody. I had a babysitter that was waiting for me. I have children at home. I was like, I need to tell you what's going on. They didn't care. They did not care. So I started kicking on the door, banging on the door. Well, the corrections officer comes in, and I was like, we need to talk. Takes the toilet paper out of there. So when I pee now, I can't wipe myself. And shuts the door. I was like, still thinking, I can reason with these people and tell them exactly what happened, and they'll understand. No. So now I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. So I'm kicking the door. I need to get out of here. I don't belong here. I don't belong here. And they pull me out. They put me in a chair and strap me down. Oh, before that. Oh, it gets better. Before that, that's right. The two corrections officers came in, and I said, look, you don't understand. Well, one of them said, you can't assault me. I didn't assault you. What are you talking about? And the other one put her hand around my throat. My hands are like this, and literally squeezed until I could not breathe. Are you kidding me? I said, I have a disabled daughter at home. I don't even know why I'm here. They did not care, did not answer, didn't do nothing. Okay, great. Then they put me in the damn chair. So now I'm in this chair, and I'm here forever, and there's a guy at the end, they're like, what are you going to do with her? Oh, we're just going to let her sit there. So now, there's the desk behind me, and the guy that assaulted me is being released. I said, wait a minute, why is he being released? They said, well, he has bail money. I said, I can get it. Nope. He got released at 2 o'clock in the morning. This all happened right before midnight. And I sat in a chair until 6 a.m. I had to pee. I said, do you want me to just pee in the chair? Because at this point, they were not listening to me at all. The lieutenant comes over and says, well, you assaulted one of my corrections officers. I said, no, I did not. I said, they assaulted me. There's cameras in there. Why don't you look at it? No one said anything. Well, we heard you were drunk over at this bar. I'm sorry, what? I did go to a bar and I was drinking, but that man assaulted me. Do you not see the bruises all over me and how dirty I am? So they just didn't like me. They just did not like me and didn't care. I even heard one of them say something about that white skinny girl. And I'm going, what does color have anything to do with this? Are you kidding me? Okay. So, finally, oh, I had to pee. That's right. Oh my gosh. They took me to the bathroom. They undid those things, took me to holding me. Like 2 of them as if I needed that, right? Kept the door open and said, you got 2 minutes. Can I have some privacy? No. Can I have some toilet paper? They handed it to me. So here I am peeing with the door open. And everyone can see. It's the most ridiculous thing ever. And I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. I said, why are you putting me back in this chair? You have to understand, I should not be here. I should not be here. All right. So finally they wouldn't let me make a phone call. They just thought this was the most hysterical thing in the world. And here I am sitting in this chair, which was hurting me, hurting my back. I'm watching people come and go that got arrested that night. And I'm sitting in this chair facing the wall. And they could have let me go and they didn't. They could have let me make bail and dealt with it later. Well, you'll be arraigned at noon. I said, no. Well, there was only one number I knew by heart. And I called him. And the cool thing was that he picked up. And it was like at 9 o'clock in the morning. Now, I'd been there all night. And I said, I'm in jail. He said, what do you need? I said, $220 to get out of here. He said, I'll be right there. I was like, oh my God, you're not mad at me? He's like, why would I be mad at you? You know, that later on, he came to get me. And he saw me. He saw how disoriented I was, how freaked out I was. He saw the bruises on me. He knew I was in pain. I slowly started to remember everything that was going on. So that day I rested, and he took care of me. Our mom took care of me once she realized what had happened. She ended up staying at my house and taking care of my kids and sending them off to school. The babysitter didn't know what happened. It was awful. I felt like the worst person in the world. And I tried to get in touch with the officer that had arrested me. And I got arrested for public intoxication. Now, I guess the scene looked chaotic, so it looked like everybody was intoxicated, but in reality, I was hurt, and I was trying to explain what had happened. And I was so upset that the mother did not understand. So now this officer has gone for 3 days. So I call his supervisor, not to get him in trouble. I remember the operator number 23. I talked to so many different people. I talked to this awesome guy who did pass away later on from a shooting. Caraway was his name. He was very nice. And they said he's not going to be back on until such and such date. So I talked to a few of these people, and I talked to other people, and I kept records of everyone I talked to. And I said, look, it's not this officer's fault. I said, but this is what happened, and I need to show you. So when an officer came on duty, I went down there with my mom, and I said, listen, we need to talk. And he said, okay. And I said, this is what happened. And he goes, well, that coincides with what you did tell me that night as I was driving you to the jail. And I see that you are badly bruised. And I took pictures of it and showed them to him. And I said, he assaulted me. And this is what I went through. And this officer said, I'm so sorry. Let me see what I can do. So, it took about a week, 2 weeks to get a warrant for his arrest for assault and battery. And in 2 weeks, I was in so much pain, it was unbelievable, from being tossed around. I'm really lucky he didn't kill me. He was 6'5", 225 pounds. But I'm a fighter. So the charges wound up being dropped against me. I do not have a record at all whatsoever. The dash cam, everything was looked at, coincided with what I said. So I got blessed. But I also got to see how people are treated. And because I became the victim in a case, that same lieutenant had to call me to let me know when his court date was. And I had the opportunity to say, do you remember when I told you that it was not me? And she said, I don't know if I remember who you are. Yeah, I knew she did. Do you believe it? How crazy is that? Maybe next time she'll actually believe someone. There's other parts where I was in a room with a couple other people at one point. And I just wanted to give you the gist of the story. I hope that no one has to ever experience this. You know, abide by the law. Definitely, for sure, that's my advice. You do not want to have to go through this. I did not realize how bad. I was there for one night and I was like, there's no way. I mean, I would never want to go through that ever again. I would never wish that upon anyone. I look at Christina Randall on what she has come through, and I think it's amazing that she's a survivor. I know I am too. And I've survived more than you could possibly imagine. This was just my one story. It was time for a story. It was time for me to get this out. I am going to put documents and pictures throughout this so you can see that it's a true story. Obviously, I'm not going to tell you names of people or things like that because for privacy reasons. And look for the story where I changed the title from A Rapist Followed Me Home to A Criminal Followed Me Home because I wasn't sure if that's a title that should be out there or not. So you might want to watch that story. And there's some miracle stories too. I do have a playlist with story times. But anyway, thank you so much for joining me for this video, for listening to my story. I hope someone learned something from this or got something out of it, or maybe has been to jail before and just or never been to jail but does risky things and just don't go. You know what I'm saying? It'll change you. That one day changed me. Could you imagine? Is there longer? So again, thank you so much for watching this video. I will put other videos in here that may interest you, and I love you guys so much. I'm sharing definitely a lot more with you guys. My channel is growing. I'm so appreciative. I love every single one of you. I look forward to your comments. I look forward to doing these videos. And you guys have a wonderful day. I'll see you in the next one.
The ones I lost, connecting lines of which